Audible, and today I have been a bit late. Apologies for the delay. I think I'm a good 10-15 minutes late. It's supposed to be live at 4:30 a.m. UK time, but it's now I think more closer to 4:45 a.m. I don't have the phone right next to me, so I can't really check. But I will wait for my family to join. I suppose the notifications must be already out, and I hope you join soon. Anyway, so yes, now first person has joined. Please give your attendance in the comments. Please say hello or good morning or hi. Okay. So today I'm going to talk about what happened on 22nd December 2025. A lot of things happened, and we can divide them into three categories. Things that happened at the occupational, hello Baba, things that happened at the occupational health appointment. Three things happened on 22nd December: occupational health appointment, meeting with the ENT department, and hospital induction. So we will talk about all three things. Hello Shamanda. So three things happened: occupational health appointment, ENT department meeting, and induction with the hospital. Good morning Shumanda. So I'll go in the sequence. So once I was done with the live stream yesterday, I tried to sleep for an hour or a couple of hours. So what my routine is, I keep trying to wake up at 5 a.m. UK time, but I always wake up at 5 a.m. India time. It is still the case. Even last night that happened. I'm trying to recover. So yesterday also, what I do essentially is when I wake up at 5 a.m. India time, I try to stay in bed and try to sleep. Usually I don't get sleep, but I try to stay in a lying posture. And before 4 a.m., I try to get ready. I brush my teeth. I have a shower. There's a bathtub here, so it's a different way of taking a shower, I suppose, taking a bath. Yeah. So I do all that. I apply the cream that I'm supposed to apply on my face. I shave and all of that. All the morning stuff I end up doing. And then I start the live stream at 4:30 a.m. UK time. So that's what I did yesterday also. Once the live stream was completed, I tried to sleep because the breakfast starts at 7 a.m. So I was done by around 5 a.m. So those 2 hours I tried to sleep, but I didn't get any sleep then. So instead of wearing the formal clothes, I went to have breakfast in fairly informal clothing. And I had breakfast, and so as I have said before, I try to have a big breakfast so that I don't feel hungry throughout the rest of the day. That's what I tried to do yesterday also. And once I was done with breakfast, it was 8 a.m. So I came back up, I got ready, and a taxi was supposed to wait for me at 9:20 a.m. outside the hotel. So I was ready by 9 a.m. and by around 9:05 a.m. I was outside the hotel. So I was waiting for 15 minutes for the taxi, and the taxi appeared at 9:21 a.m. So it was just 1 minute late. So people here are incredibly punctual. So I got into the taxi, and the taxi took me to the hospital. I've been walking to the hospital so far every day, and when I walk there, it takes me about 40 minutes because of the steep upward incline. But when I went in the taxi, it took me, I think, 10 minutes, not more than 10 minutes. So I reached the hospital, and so that really made me miss Rajnath, to be honest, because if I had my car and Rajnath with me here, then the drive to the hospital would be a 10-minute drive. But instead, now it is more of a 40-minute exercise. It really does take a toll on the body because you have to almost climb up a hill. for a good 15-20 minutes of the journey is an uphill climb. The rest of it is fairly easy, but for about 20-25 minutes it's an uphill climb. So I reached the hospital in the taxi. I reached around I think 9:30 a.m. My appointment was scheduled at 9:45 a.m. So I went into the occupational health place. That place is called Harvey Halls. Harvey, as in Ian Harvey, Neil Harvey, Harvey Halls. And I entered. There was a reception. I told the lady at the reception that I am here for the occupational health appointment. So she asked me if I have brought my passport with me, and I was supposed to carry a photographic identity card. So I did carry the passport with me. I was carrying all of my documents with me at that time. So I gave her my passport. She made a photocopy of it, and I was asked to wait. So I waited patiently. There were a couple of other people also. Two other ladies were also waiting for their occupational health appointments, and we were just sitting. And the interesting thing about the occupational health waiting area is that there is a radio which keeps playing, playing the news, I think. And while the news is playing, I uh, I heard, I read a sign next to the radio which said, "Do not adjust the volume of the radio out of interests of privacy," which I found very interesting. So the radio is not just serving the purpose of telling the news; it's also uh, masking the speech of people talking to the doctors, I suppose. It's a very interesting thing that the radio was serving a dual purpose there. So yes, I waited for about I think half an hour. I don't think more than half an hour. I waited for half an hour, and then a very polite and kind nurse came up to me, called my name, and I followed her to the occupational health appointment. The occupational health appointment was very simple. It involved answering a few questions regarding the vaccines that I've taken for communicable diseases, and a few questions regarding tuberculosis. So I had already undergone a tuberculosis screening test in India at a designated center in Kolkata. So I showed her the tuberculosis screening certificate that I had already successfully generated by, and we needed to do that in India. राजनाथ जी, कैसे हो राजनाथ जी, सब ठीक है? तो अभी आई वाज सेइंग कि गाड़ी का रास्ता यहाँ से 10 मिनट का है और पैदल जाने से 40 मिनट लगता है, और उसमें भी चढ़ के जाना पड़ता है. इट्स लाइक अब चढ़ाई है बहुत. तो या गाड़ी और आपको तो मिस करते ही हैं बहुत. से ला वी. So so I showed her the tuberculosis certificate that I had obtained in India. Again, for that I had to go to Calcutta, and that was a car journey where Rajnath and Shumanda were with me. I showed her the TB certificate. She said, okay, this is acceptable, but we will also perform a blood test for tuberculosis, IGRA, which would happen 8 weeks later. So she booked my appointment for that. She drew my blood for certain viral markers, which is standard practice. I completely understand that. And that was it. That was the occupational health checkup. So it involved questions about the vaccines I had already received, questions about tuberculosis, and questions and blood drawing for checking my current immune status, especially with respect to certain viral infections. So once that was done, I was told that the reports would be available in about a week. It usually takes a week, but now there is the added complication of Christmas holidays. So once the reports are available, they'll let the HR department know. Also, there was a clerical error here where instead of specialty doctor ENT, somebody had written psychiatry, which is probably them misunderstanding my pronunciation, because I said specialty doctor and they probably heard psychiatry doctor, which is understandable because we are all getting familiar with each other's accents here. So I told the nurse that I'm actually a specialty doctor in ENT and not a psychiatry doctor, so that clerical issue I'm sure will get resolved. She assured me that it will. And then also I want to mention that yeah, so that was it. That was the occupational health appointment. I don't think there is anything else to mention here. And she assured me that the results will be available in about a week, and once I am declared fit in terms of occupational health, the HR, the Human Resources Department, would find out about it from them, from the Occupational Health Department, and my then my start date would be decided. So tentatively speaking, my start date is supposed to be 5th of January, uh, but that is dependent on the occupational health reports being normal. So I hope it will be normal. राजनाथ जी ने कहा कि राजनाथ जी अच्छे हैं, मैं भी अच्छा हूँ. Good morning. So if the occupational health reports are normal, then I am expecting my start date to be 5th January 2026. And so that was it. That was the job, that was the work in the occupational health department. I think it took me about 20 minutes from entering the room with the nurse and then coming out of the room. So around 10:25, I started walking towards the ENT department. And once I was inside the ENT department, I met Mickey, who is the specialist nurse in ENT, if I'm not wrong. I'm still getting familiar with the faces and the names and the designations, so I really don't want to make any mistakes. Provide there is obviously a possibility they might be watching this live stream. If not now, then later. So I really don't want to make any mistakes. But if I do, then it's just that it's a mistake, and it's no not deliberate in any shape or form. So I met Mickey first, who is the specialist nurse, and I told him that I'm here for the departmental tour. So he asked me, do you want to meet Mr. Zigan or Zygan? Again, I'm not sure if the pronunciation is right. So I said yes, and he took me to meet the clinical lead, Mr. Zygan, who is a consultant. He's, I think, from Poland, if I'm not wrong. And I was also introduced to other members of the ENT team. I met Dr. Bhavia, Dr. Tinnu, Dr. Sam, Dr. Jerry, and a few others whose names I can't recall right now, but I'm sure I'm going to get familiar with the names very quickly. And I also met another nurse, and I met the audiologist, and then I met I also had some time, about 5 to 10 minutes, with the clinical lead, Mr. Zygan. Here the doctors have the title Mr. and have talked about that, why that happens. And we had a productive conversation. He assured me about the processes involved, and he said that I should find out about the department, and I found out a lot about the department, and it was a very and I was taken to different places in the hospital, shown different places, and I was quite happy with the welcome I received, and I'm looking forward to having a long career here. So once that part got resolved, various issues were discussed, which I don't want to discuss in detail here, but it was all very encouraging. Everything that I heard about the hospital and the ENT department has really made me very enthusiastic to start working as soon as possible. What was mentioned very clearly was I could not start working before I get the fitness from occupational health department, which is, the appointment happened yesterday, so at least a week. And also I need to sign the formal contract, which also can only be signed after the occupational health fitness is obtained. So there are two things that are still pending in terms of my employment becoming formalized: the fitness from the occupational health and me signing the contract, which again will happen only after the HR department gets the fitness from the occupational health department. I was also told that there will be a shadowing period where I'll get the opportunity to learn about the way treatment happens, and there are various other things which I have to learn, which are very different from the way things are in India. So I'll talk about that in greater detail. So once I was done with the departmental tour, this was around 12. I decided I'll wait in the hospital till about 2 p.m. to meet Trevor because Trevor had my swipe card and I needed the swipe card. But excuse me, sorry for the sneeze. While I am not feeling cold, it's just a sneeze. So while I was waiting in the lobby for this is a very big hospital, very comfortable. I was very happy with the facilities there. In terms of treatment facilities, diagnostic facilities, it's just amazing. I was really blown away by the facilities available there. So, while I was waiting for 2 p.m. because I was supposed to meet Trevor in the second floor, on the second floor of North Wing after 2 p.m. I was waiting for 2 p.m. I was waiting in the lobby for the clock to strike 2 p.m. I got an email around 1 p.m. that my hospital induction, which I thought would happen at 3:30 p.m., had been brought forward to 2 p.m. Maybe I had, maybe it was something I always, I should have known that it was at 2 p.m. and not 3:30 p.m. Somehow I felt it was at 3:30 p.m. Had asked the HR team, someone from the HR team, to confirm whether it is at 3:30 p.m. or 2 p.m. So I got the email at 1 p.m. thankfully that the hospital induction would happen at 2 p.m. and not 3:30 p.m. So I rushed back to the hotel because I needed a stable Wi-Fi connection because the induction for some reason was happening virtually. It could have happened face to face, I suppose. I was in the hospital, but it was held virtually, and I don't have any problem with that. So I came back to the hotel just to attend it virtually. It took me about 30 minutes to come back to the hotel, and I set up the laptop and everything 10 minutes before 2 p.m. And during the induction, I learned a lot of important things about work here. Certain things that I do want to mention is I need to do a lot of training before I start working, and most of this training would be online. And to avail of this training, I would have to go to the hospital, sit on a hospital computer, enter my login credentials, and complete the training. That training is mandatory, and everyone needs to undergo that before they start working. So, for the next 2 to 3 weeks, that is going to be the first thing on my mind, to finish the mandatory training as soon as possible. So I'm going to do that. And the other thing that I was highly encouraged by is that the only reason that that my contract would not be extended is if I demonstrate that I am not competent enough, which is something I found quite encouraging. So if in the future I have to make a video talking about how my contract did not get extended, then the only person to blame would be myself. So the signs are quite encouraging from all points of view, whether it is from the accommodation point of view. I talked about that also. Many of my concerns regarding accommodation were alleviated. I got very encouraging responses to all the questions I had during induction. All the things that I really have thought about and have that are present on my agenda, such as becoming a consultant, Caesar pathway, long-term future, accommodation, all of those things, salary, bank account, leaves, everything was addressed in a very systematic way, and the message that I learned from the induction is that everyone is one email away. So whenever there is a doubt, I can always reach out to them. Hello ma, সব ঠিক আছে? So I was quite encouraged by the induction. It was encouraging. I would say 80% of it was encouraging. 20% of it was them making me aware of my responsibilities. So while I was very encouraged by the way they were speaking to me, I was also constantly reminded that I needed to complete a bunch of training on my own, accessing the computer in the hospital. So this is not something I can do from my own personal devices. I have to use the hospital devices for that, and I have to be in the hospital for that, for obvious security reasons. So 80% of it was encouraging, 20% of it was reminding me of my responsibilities, which involves in the near term completing the mandatory training, and in the medium term uh, proving my worth as a specialty doctor. So I have been hired to do a work. I need to become competent enough to begin that work, which involves completing the mandatory training. And once I begin the work, I should demonstrate in my work that I am of the level at which I have been hired, and if I am not competent, then obviously my contract will not be renewed. But if everything else goes to plan, if I am able to demonstrate what is expected of me, then there is the message I got, unless I'm completely wrong in understanding messages, the message I received was that it is highly likely that my contract will get extended. But again, that is something which is going to happen 3 months down the line, not today. It is not a topic that I want to dwell on today, but in the very first interaction, they address the proverbial elephant in the room, which is my contract, which is reassuring to say the least. They also asked me about my accommodation, and they want me to stay as close to the hospital as possible, and they want me to look for accommodation actively, which I am, and I also want to stay as close to the hospital as is humanly possible, because I don't want to spend too much time in commute. So that is something I am really looking forward to, finding accommodation close to the hospital, and I hope that happens as soon as possible. So once I was done with the induction, I completed it from the hotel itself. I got an email from the bank, Danska Bank, which I hope has a good relationship with the hospital. Many hospital employees have a current account with Danska Bank, and it is this current account where the salary would get credited. And I got a message from Danska Bank that they need proof of address, which obviously I don't have. So I asked Sylvia. She said that you tell them that you have just joined, you've just moved to Northern Ireland. So obviously you will not have utility bill, electricity bill payment. All of that is not possible immediately after moving to Northern Ireland, and one does require a bank account to get the salary, and only once you get the salary, you can pay the rent. And if you have to get a rental accommodation, if they ask you for a bank statement, so it's a very weird thing. So a rental place would require me to pay them rent, and to pay rent I would need a bank account, and to get a bank account they want proof of rent, which is a vicious cycle, you know. So to get rent I need a bank account, to get a bank account I need to prove that I have rented a place. Which one happens first? The chicken egg problem. So I hope with the reference of the hospital, the bank account would be up and running soon. And once that is the case, then I'll be able to pay the rent, and I'll be able to get all the rental agreement, which would then prove to be my proof of address. So in the immediate future, by immediate future I mean today, the two things that are on my agenda for today is I will again go to the hospital uh, around 8 a.m. I suppose. Once I'm done with breakfast, I'll walk to the hospital. I'll try to reach by 8 a.m. If not, maybe 8:15, and I'll try to um, I'll go to the department, maybe get a trust laptop if possible, get a hospital laptop if they give it to me, or and log in and get all the credentials done, and access the various e-learning modules, electronic learning modules, the various courses that I have to complete in 3 weeks. So that's the first thing on my agenda, getting access to a hospital computer to start the training that I have to complete within 3 weeks. And second thing on my agenda is to meet Trevor. I've been meaning to meet Trevor for a long time, but I have to meet Trevor today after 2 p.m. to get the swipe card. So those are the two things that I think are on my agenda. And today is the 23rd. Tomorrow I'll be checking out of this hotel and moving to Redgate. So for that I also need to book a taxi, and I think I'll do that as well. Um, that is it. I don't think there's anything else on the agenda. So any questions for me? If you don't have any questions for me, if you've understood my entire day, then that's it. So after the induction, I got a bunch of emails from the HR department. So I'll also have to fill in those forms if I can, provided I have all the information, and I'll try to email them back to the HR team here. All in all, it was a very encouraging day. Whether it is the occupational health appointment or the departmental tour or the hospital induction, everywhere people were incredibly nice, incredibly polite, and incredibly welcoming. I believe that Delhi is a very warm place, except the weather. Everything else is here very warm here. People are extremely warm, and I'm really looking forward to having a career here. So I just hope that I'm up to the task. Up to the I'm able to fulfill the expectations people have from me from a professional point of view. I really hope I am equal to the task. Um, there are people in the department who I had met during the interview process who I did not get a chance to meet yesterday. Mr. Reddy, Mr. Gupta, these are people I know from previous interviews. Mr. Reddy I have met multiple times, but I've not met him in person. So I'm looking forward to meeting both of them as soon as possible and learning more about how to navigate this new place. Okay, thank you, Baba. So I'll end the stream now, and see you tomorrow. I'll try to be punctual tomorrow, 4:30 a.m. once more. Okay, bye bye.